Hello everyone, with the Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, July 30, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what that's been like in your year recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future weather in your specific area. Alright, so taking a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook that came out at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:15 p.m. Jamaica time. So this just came out 9 minutes ago, considering that it's 6:24 p.m. right now. As you can see, tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days, and this is the reason why I don't really have much of anything across the entire Atlantic. Just a couple impressive looking tropical waves across the main development region. A lot of convection across Africa. Very interesting. All of this should be pushing out across the main development region shortly. Numerous troughs, frontal systems here and there. The usual thunderstorm activity across portions of North America. And we still see that the Eastern Pacific is quite active over there, but nothing that is worthy of being highlighted by the Hurricane Center at all. I know that if something should form over here, the next name on the list is Dexter. Taking a look at the eastern to the central Pacific side of things, we're still watching Tropical Storm Iona that's now to the southwest of Hawaii. To the south of Hawaii, we have the remnants of Tropical Storm Kelly. To the east of the remnants of Kelly, we have an area that has a medium chance of development within the next 7 days, a 40% chance at that. All of that in the Eastern Pacific. Now in the all of that in the Central Pacific. Now in the Eastern Pacific over here, closer to Mexico, we see that we still have that area that has a medium chance of development within the next 7 days, a 60% chance at that. And we also have an area that has a 90% chance of development within the next 7 days. And if we take a look at the infrared, we can see all of the clouds, the showers, and the thunderstorms associated with the code orange and the code red that could develop to the southwest of Mexico. I know that if something should form over here, the next name on the list is Gale or Henriette. However, regarding these systems over here, we have Tropical Storm Iona right in here. Definitely downgraded from a hurricane as we stated it would. It is currently packing maximum sustained winds of 65 miles per hour, moving towards the west at 22 miles per hour. So it's definitely a tropical storm, definitely closer to hurricane status than tropical depression status. And that tropical storm is basically packing anywhere from 39 to 73 miles per hour winds. So if it's packing 65 miles per hour winds, definitely closer to hurricane status for sure. It's expected to continue moving westward, then west-northwestward, then dissipating, possibly, downgrading back to a tropical depression by 8 a.m. on Monday. So it's definitely moving quite quickly, as you can see it right here to the southwest of Hawaii. Regarding the remnants of Tropical Storm Kelly, we see that it is right to the south of Hawaii. As you can see here, it is definitely no longer a tropical storm. It's packing maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour, moving towards west at 70 knots. And it doesn't seem like the Hurricane Center is going to be posting anything else about this. We see it right here, remnants of Kelly dissipated at 11 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. Regarding what's happening on the Western Pacific side of things though, we can still see that we have Tropical Storm Komi affecting portion of eastern China. To the east of Komi, right here to the southeast of Japan, we still have Tropical Storm Kurosa, and to the northeast of Kurosa, we have an area that could develop. We have it state 92W, so maybe a code yellow, something that could develop within the next 7 days. Either way, in terms of the infrared, we can see all of the entities even better. Tropical Storm Komi right in here. We can see the other tropical storm that's cruising right here to the southeast of Japan, and more than likely this area to the northeast, somewhere in here, is where the code yellow is, the next name on the list over there on the western Pacific side of things. And if we take a closer look on tropical storm Kome, it is definitely inland right now, packing maximum sustained winds of 35 knots, and we know that anywhere from 34 to 64 knots is considered a tropical storm. And as you can see, it's expected to downgrade in intensity 30 knots, 25, 20 knots as it continues to push in towards the northwest into eastern China. And we even have some footage on Twitter. This is from Weather Monitor. If you aren't following this page, you need to fix that. They've stated that this is from the tropical storm Kome. I don't know why they're saying typhoon. It's still a tropical storm right now. And this is the footage that they highlighted, stating that the tropical storm is wreaking havoc in Ningbo, located in China's Zhejiang province, stating that authorities have evacuated 283,000 residents and relocated them to over 1,900 plus emergency shelters for safety. I mean, look at the flooding that this tropical storm caused in eastern China. This is just ridiculous. Cars being washed away, and it just started affecting eastern China for the past 24 to 48 hours. Look at the inundation taking place. This is just ridiculous. Jamaica couldn't manage any of this at all. We don't need any of this at all. I mean, look at that footage of a vehicle being swept away, cars inundated. This is just ridiculous for sure. If you'd like to see more footage like this, just go over to Twitter. That is Weather Monitor right in here. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we have a tropical wave right here to the west of Jamaica, affecting portions of Central America. Another tropical wave is currently to the east of Jamaica, but we don't really see much moisture. We'll look at the visible shortly. Another tropical wave right here across the main development region. To the east of that, another tropical wave right in here. All of these entities being steered from east-west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north as usual. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can make out some of these entities. The clouds associated with the tropical wave are more so to the south, affecting portion of Nicaragua and Honduras right now. There is supposedly a tropical wave somewhere in here to the east of Jamaica, but where are the clouds? Not really seeing the clouds. Maybe the moisture that we see across Hispaniola could be associated with the tropical wave, or is that just afternoon convection? Another tropical wave is somewhere in here, another tropical wave is somewhere in here to the east of there. Either way, we can definitely see all of these entities being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, July 30, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast for parts of some northern and western parishes in Jamaica on Wednesday afternoon. Now we know northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on top like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? At around 2:26 p.m., the visible satellite image was posted not only here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, but it was also posted on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can see that at around 2:26, the visible satellite image was posted and it highlighted some clouds, bringing some overcast skies, if not some isolated thunder showers, to sections of Westmoreland, section of Hanover, section of St. James, section of southern Trelawney, and even southern St. Anne. We even had some clouds across section of northern St. Andrew. We definitely had some brief isolated showers there. So too sections of northern St. Elizabeth. While elsewhere, definitely partly cloudy, if not sunny for the most part. And then another post was made at around 4:05 p.m. highlighting the infrared. Look at the blues, greens, yellows, oranges, reds, blacks that represent that cumulonimbus cloud cover, all of which was being sheared off towards the west, as we can see here by that upper level wind shear. And we see the sparkling white dots in there that represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. So we definitely had some strong thunder showers right here across section of St. Elizabeth. For sure, section of St. James, section of Hanover, Westmoreland definitely gotten on some of the thunder shower activity as well. the visible satellite imagery right here confirming what took place. Definitely had some rainfall across northern St. Andrew, section of northern St. Catherine, section of Trelawney, sections of, let's see, northwestern Manchester, northern St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover. Definitely gotten on some of the rainfall. And as you can see, as we're beginning to lose the sunlight, everything is dissipating. Infrared right here confirming the thunderstorms out west for sure. And that was basically it. And we definitely have the live camera here from C Jamaica's YouTube channel showing Barbican in St. Andrew. This was at around 3:08 p.m. And as you can see here, we had some light rain coming in, definitely wetting up the road, making it a bit soaked in a sense. People walking about trying to get to somewhere that they can shelter. Windshield wipers are definitely on, or were definitely on at that time for sure. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit C Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint quite the picture for we might have had that rainfall today, especially across some northern and western parishes, and northern St. Elizabeth, section of Westmoreland, Hanover, section of St. James, Trelawney, section of St. Anne, section of northern St. Catherine, and northern St. Andrew. Definitely showing where we had that rainfall for sure. And we have some comments here confirming what the weather is like in some of our followers' areas. We have Nat Anya stating heavy rain and breeze in Black River. One Ryan _ stating overcast in Hanover so far with thunder. We also have Marlon _ one God _ stating Clarendon hot and dry. We have Cotty Libra _ 28 stating yes, rain in constant spring. I'm happy that you got the rainfall in northern St. Andrew. Randall Green stating good evening weather Jamaica. We got some rain in Brownstone, St. Anne today. I'm glad that you got that rainfall for sure. Alright, so let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. Let us see what's happening right now. Alright, so the latest still image is showing 23:25 UTC, which is actually around 6:25 p.m. So this just came out 10 minutes ago, considering that it is 6:35 p.m. right now. As you can see, just some high level clouds exiting the western end of the island right in here, to show that we definitely had some rainfall across western Jamaica today. Let us reload the latest Cuban Doppler radar, the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar, and the latest Cayman radar to confirm what's taking place right now. Alright, so it looks like the Cuban Doppler radar glitched out at around 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's actually 3:30 p.m. Jamaica time today. At that time, we saw some rain bands right here across the cockpit country, northern St. Elizabeth, the greens into the yellows into reds for sure. Definitely coinciding with the satellite imagery at that time. The Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar not really showing much of anything across northeastern Jamaica. As expected, we don't see anything on the satellite imagery, but we do see some rain bands right here across sections of the western portion of southeastern Cuba and the western portion of the western peninsula of Haiti as well. The Cayman radar showing some rainfall as well in the blues, greens, some light moderate rainfall across sections of central Cuba, some of the isolated showers exiting the western end of the island. So this is definitely coinciding with what we're seeing on the latest satellite imagery, the high clouds over here, and beneath all of those clouds we have the rain bands, just some light rainfall definitely dissipating as it pushes off towards the west. Nothing affecting the Cayman Islands, and we see some rain bands right here out to the west of the Cayman Islands as well. We definitely had some rainfall right here on across the Devon House intersection right in here. So we can see that the road is a bit damp, slightly wet, to indicate that they definitely got some amount of rainfall around there. The live camera not showing much of anything. People walking about, going about their business. People in their vehicles going about their business. So it should be a fair evening for sure. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Thursday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. This map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Thursday, which is actually 1 p.m. And we see Jamaica embedded in the grays that we can see from the key on the right represents 0. That represents average temperatures for the month of July. And we know the average temperature for the month of July across Jamaica is around 91 degrees Fahrenheit. When that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 32.8 degrees Celsius. So that should be the temperature forecast for Jamaica on Thursday. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS Online Twitter page that we have to highlight. And we know that we have to highlight this because we know that when we have power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Thursday, July 31, 2025. Referring to Zion Hill, Marlborough, Rock Spring, all these areas in St. Mary from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Golden Acres in St. Catherine from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Also Old Stony Hill Road, Ponton Road, Christopher Road, all in the parish of St. Andrew from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Carawina in Westmoreland from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Springfield to Keto in Westmoreland as well from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And finally, we have Bowman Gully as well as Somerton in Trelawney from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, seek shade when outside. Eat fresh. Try eating cold foods such as salads and fruits. Rest. Make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak. Take a cool shower or a bath to help you cool down. Keep hydrated. Drink lots of water throughout the day even if you're not thirsty. And put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. And we see the abundance of dry air, especially over here near Africa, extending across the main development region into the Caribbean. We know that the dry air is responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable, making it harder for it to rain. We don't want the dry air. We would rather see more moist air, as we can see in the blues. Wherever we have the moist air, that's where we have the clouds. That's where we have more rainfall taking place. I wish we had more moisture across the basin, especially here across the Caribbean for sure. But regarding the Saharan dust forecast for the next 3 days, so we're heading into July 31, August 1, and August 2. And as you can see, not really much Saharan dust being pushed into our area across Jamaica right here. Just some slight greens, won't even be noticeable at all. Clearly the brunt of the Saharan dust is going to be passing just to the north of the Caribbean, and we're indeed grateful for that. But right behind it, we have a bit of a plume coming in, but it is nothing significant. We don't see the crazy reds or pinks at all, and we're indeed grateful for that. We don't want the hazy skies. We don't want the asthma or sinusitis issues at all. Regarding the wave forecast for tomorrow, still seeing that the highest waves are right here to the far south of Jamaica, to the north of Panama and Colombia, wherever we have the dark blues into the purples. That's a 2 to 2.5 meter wave height. And that's because of the strong east-northeasterly winds down there, averaging 20 to 25 knots in the yellows for sure. But if we zoom in on Jamaica, the wave forecast as usual, to the south of St. Thomas 1 meter wave height, to the south of Clarendon 0.6 of a meter wave height, to the south of Westmoreland 0.6 of a meter wave height, to the north of Hanover 0.7 of a meter wave height, to the north of St. Anne 0.7 of a meter wave height, to the north of Portland 0.8 of a meter wave height. And that's because of the easterly winds that are expected. We can clearly see to the south of St. Thomas 12 knot winds from the east, to the south of Clarendon 12 knot wind from the east as well, to the north of St. James 13 knot wind. And we see where the air is expected to pile up across sections of some central and western parishes. So that's where we could have those low level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper level cumulonimbus clouds. And the upper level winds are coming in from the east to northeast tomorrow, so that could favor some of the higher cloud tops being sheared off towards the south coast for sure. So remember, we had something like this today. The upper level winds were blowing the high cloud tops, all of those cumulonimbus cloud tops, off towards the west. Tomorrow is going to be a sense like this, blowing the cloud tops off towards the west southwest. So it could favor more overcast skies across section of the south coast if we actually get the thunderstorms in the right spots. And the actual rainfall forecast maps now from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that it should be raining in the morning. And this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is actually 9 a.m. Jamaica time. And even although the Euro is going a bit bonkers, showing some rainfall out west, even across Westmoreland, St. James, Hanover, Trelawney at 9 a.m., that's a bit hard to believe. I'm more in line to believe what the GFS is showing. Rainfall out east. We don't see rainfall out west in the morning. We see that in the afternoon. So I'm more inclined to believe what the GFS is showing with the blues, the rainfall right here in eastern St. Thomas, Portland, maybe to the south of Kingston, St. Andrew, maybe to the north of St. Mary. Euro is actually showing something similar right in here, but we're not really believing that out in the northwest at all. Maybe if it was afternoon. And then by 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is actually 1 p.m. Jamaica time. Look at where the rainfall is, and it's actually showing the rainfall across the right spots. So across some eastern, southern, and western parishes, we're talking about maybe sections of St. Thomas, Portland, section of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, maybe spilling into sections of southern Westmoreland, well, southern Hanover, and southern St. James. And even coastal areas of maybe St. Mary still getting on some amount of rainfall. Very interesting forecast. It's going to be eastern, central, western parishes for sure. And even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps here are adamant that it's going to be raining somewhere in Jamaica within the next 24 hours. The Euro going up to at least 0.77 of an inch of rainfall. The GFS going up to at least maybe 0.4 of an inch of rainfall out west. And whatever happens, we'll definitely take it. We're in the month of July. And in Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive around 50 millimeters of rainfall for the month of July. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive around 3.2 inches of rainfall for the month of July. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of July or for the entire year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website to show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us, according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right up here at the top. As we go to the next 168 hours, that stands for the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused in Jamaica right here, as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. Alright, so we just looked at Thursday's forecast. Now we're about to look at what Friday has in store for us. Alright, so 12Z on Friday, which is actually 7 a.m. We do see that not much of anything is expected across Jamaica at that time. Friday afternoon, however, we see some rainfall across the eastern end and the western end of the island. What does the GFS show? Friday morning, there's actual rainfall to the south and to the east of us. Don't see that on the Euro for the morning, but it's the afternoon that shows some rainfall across some central and western parishes. Let us see what Saturday morning shows. On Saturday morning, not really seeing much of anything on the Euro. Saturday afternoon, maybe some eastern, northern, and western parishes with that rainfall. What does the GFS show? Saturday morning, rainfall to the north and west of us. Saturday afternoon, rainfall across the western end of the island. What do we see on Sunday morning, according to the Euro? Don't see much of anything across the island of Jamaica. Sunday afternoon, what do we see? Maybe some isolated showers across some southern and eastern parishes. What do we see on the GFS? Sunday morning, rainfall to the east of us. Sunday afternoon, actually it's rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. We're seeing an increase in rainfall for sure on the GFS. What do we see for Monday morning? Rainfall across the waters surrounding the island, especially across eastern Jamaica for Monday morning. Interesting. Monday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. Isolated rainfall at that. What does the GFS show? Monday morning, rainfall across the western end and the southern and eastern ends. Monday afternoon, rainfall across the eastern, northern, and western parishes. What do we see for Tuesday morning? Tuesday morning, not really seeing much of anything. Tuesday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across some northern and eastern parishes. Interesting. And we're going to be stopping right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Wednesday, August 6th. Don't see much of anything for Jamaica on that day. What do we see on the GFS? Tuesday morning, not really seeing much of anything. Tuesday afternoon, rainfall across the eastern end. Interesting. Even some northern and western parishes in the late afternoon hours, and we're stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours as well. So this is valid also for Wednesday, August 6th. Not really seeing much of anything across Jamaica at that time, but we do see an abundance of moisture right here to the south of Mexico. Maybe an L in there, something trying to formulate right there. The GFS is a bit more organized with something down in there, maybe another system for the eastern Pacific. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, in terms of the total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, Both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that over the next 7 days, the most rainfall should be wherever the darkest reds into the purples and the pinks are. So the 2 to 5 inches of rainfall definitely expected for a portion of northern South America into Central America for sure. So know that some isolated flash flooding could take place, while other areas like Florida into the Bahamas, the Greater Antilles, into the Lesser Antilles, shaded in the reds, that's at least up to an inch of rainfall. That's the rainfall that we could receive for sure, an inch or less. Regarding Jamaica's rainfall totals, you can clearly see that over the next 7 days, the most rainfall on both the Euro and the GFS modes should be across the far eastern end of the island. The Euro going up to at least 40 millimeters of rainfall, the GFS going up to at least some slight oranges that we see here on the key on the bottom, maybe up to 50 millimeters, and we see the rest of the island shaded in the greens and the yellows, that's the 15 all the way up to 40 millimeters of rainfall. So we know that that rainfall should be during the afternoon hours, and whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. Alright, so taking a look at the rest of the Caribbean, as stated, we have some low-level clouds pushing through the eastern Caribbean, isolated shores at that, the tropical waves right here across the main Devoma region, thunderstorms lashing Panama, Costa Rica as we speak. If we take a look at the Doppler radar imagery right here over Puerto Rico, we do see some isolated hit or miss showers in and around the Leeward Islands. The Barbados radar showing something similar, some isolated hit or miss light to moderate showers pushing through just to the east of Dominica, coming through Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Great East Grenada, passing to the north of Trinidad and Tobago. The weather-wave Doppler radar images showing that rainfall that affected portions of Cuba, the Yucatan Peninsula, northern Guatemala, Belize. We see some rainfall across section of Venezuela. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that the most rainfall should be across Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, section of the Yucatan, while other areas shaded in the greens and slight yellows, that's representing anywhere from 0.1 of an inch of rainfall all the way up to at least 0.3 of an inch of rainfall expected for section of Grenada, St. Vincent, section of Dominica, Guadeloupe, section of the Leeward Islands including Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba, section of the southern Bahamas, Jamaica getting on some of the action. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS modes are in agreement with this forecast. I know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.